Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday, talking a little real estate. Hope you guys had an amazing week, and thank you for tuning in. We're going to have a good show for you. As always, we try to come up with new ideas, new topics. Sometimes it's hard. You know, with real estate, sometimes it's the boring stuff. It's the same old, same old. As a lot of you guys in your field, you do the monotonous things. It's, you know, whether you're making phone calls, you do those things. Whether you're doing, you're doing roofing or contracting. Sometimes the job just has routine tasks that you do. So our shows, we try to have fun. And of course, with us, we're dealing with the public. So it's always entertaining. And you never know what you're going to get. And it's always fun, you know. We always enjoy it. There's never a dull moment at Hometown Realty with all of our great clients. And, you know, there's a little drama too. You know, real estate is, as I always say, is one of the most stressful things that you can do. And you put that with emotions and buying and selling and kids and school and, oh my God, these crazy inspectors. Let me just say that the inspectors for 2024 are not a lot of my sellers' top wish list. I'm not sure if they're getting Christmas cards this year, if that's going to say something. And, you know, we have that. So everybody has a job to do. The home inspectors have a job to do. And it's our job to kind of bring everybody together. And but it's always, you know, it's always a challenge. That's why you hire a great agent. You have a team working for you because it's teamwork to make the dream work. And I hope you are going to enjoy this show. And we're going to talk about, as the spring market heats up, it's here. It is officially here. The spring market's here for 2024, and I expect it to be a booming year. We're already seeing record-setting years for us starting out. Inventories increased dramatically on our end. It's the busiest I've ever been in 24 years. I was talking to a client yesterday about it. He said, the busiest you've ever been? I said, yes. We're blessed over here to have a lot of opportunity, helping a lot of people. And we know it's an election year, so a lot of things are moving. A lot of people last year that were thinking about doing something, rates were almost 8%. I said, hey, Ryan, we're going to make that move this year. So combination of reasons, I think it's going to be a great year to buy and sell real estate. Also, as investors out there, a great opportunity to invest. You know, I know there's a lot of doom and gloom, and you look at the news media, and it's the worst housing market and all this kind of stuff. But there's a lot of people that are buying and selling homes. A lot of people paying cash. A lot of people that have to be to this area. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about purchasing or selling if you do so this year. Always love to help you in any way we can. This show, we're going to talk about key conditions you must have in your real estate purchase contract for your Knoxville home and or surrounding counties. We call it East Tennessee, so we cover such a wide range here. So key conditions you must have in your real estate purchase contract. We're going to talk about that. It gets into the details, but if you're buying or selling a home, one of the most important things we do is we get excited, and what do? What's the next step? You get with your agent, and we put a contract together. Well, some things get overlooked, and I want to make sure that you guys, if you're not using us, that you have the key conditions that you have, something to think about as you move forward. And so we have a really good show for you. Thank everybody for following us. I want to say a big shout out to everybody following us on social media. We'll talk about this in the second half, but as you know, it's the last game of the Vols home game today against Kentucky Wildcats. Go Vols. And thank everybody that's followed us on social media and all the ticket giveaways. We couldn't appreciate you the most, and hope y'all have had fun going to the games on us, Hometown Realty. If you didn't have a chance to kind of get in, no worries. You follow us every year. Football, basketball, even baseball sometimes. We've got you covered, and we give away tickets. Just something we can do, something we enjoy doing. We love Vol Nation, and glad to kind of sponsor those guys and send them to the game. Memories. All right. Thank you for following us on News Talk 98.7, 1 o'clock, and, of course, on Talk Radio 92.3 FM at 11 o'clock, and all the social media channels out there. You can always find Real Estate with Ryan. You might be like us at the ball game, maybe busy. Don't worry. We always got you on a replay. You can also catch us on iTunes, Spotify, and Google. All right. So what's some things talking about the purchase and sale agreement that you must know? Obviously, Ryan, I need my offer price. I need to know what are the financing terms? What are some key things that I need to put into the contract? So obviously, we'll start how much you're going to pay for the property, right? Most logical. From there, it gets, well, what type of loan are you going to get? There's a type of multiple different financing options out there. We'll go over a couple of them, types of loans that you may get and what you'll need to know. And again, it's what we always talk to buyers. The most important thing that you want to do is, we got going. Look, on the second half, don't mean to get going sidetracked. We've got some new congrats, a lot of new listings, and some thank yous. And we're going to start that on the second half. So just stay with us. I got a little sidetracked talking about the show, but we got some new congrats, new listings coming second half. So financing, you want to know on the property that you're looking at, you want to make sure if it meets the terms of financing. For example, we have great loans out there with FHA, and for our great veterans that are VA loans. So on those particular type of loans, they require certain property conditions. One of them is the appraisal. They're very strict on certain types of things, safety issues, rotten boards, different things like that. Each property is different. So get with your agent and get with us if we can help you, walk you through. Some properties in today's market, whether how long the owner has owned the property, maybe there's some repairs that the seller's not going to do. You ever seen a property that's for sale and it says sold as is? Doesn't always mean there's something wrong with it. It just means that the seller's not going to fix any repairs. And why these things are so important for you as a buyer or moving forward is because the last thing we want to do is, let's say you're selling a property or it's your first purchase ever and you want to make that purchase, but guess what? You move out of your apartment, you give your notice, you put your loan, but the only type of financing that you're really comfortable moving forward or approved for is one of these types of loans. Let's say FHA or VA. Only to find out that you've paid for an inspection, you paid for an appraisal, and then you get to the appraisal and it comes back, and the seller wasn't able to meet those items on the inspection or contingency, or the lender says, hey, we will require this done before we get the loan. And a lot of times on those types of properties, guess what? They won't allow you to do it after closing or something that calls putting it in escrow. So it can be very, very frustrating when we're moving forward with this purchase. So really strongly suggest getting with your great agent or getting with us to make sure that we can walk you through those types of things. Let's talk about financing and tops of the contract. Let's talk about interest rates. How important is today when your interest rates are raising and they're all over the place? So there's protections that you need to put in the contract that if your budget, which is so important in today's market, that you don't want to go above a certain price range or a payment, then you need to put in your purchase and sale agreement with a rate lock protection. Okay, so our rate won't go above, let's say 6.7 or 6.8. These are things that must be included because if you don't have rate lock protection, even though you're approved for the loan, guess what? That doesn't mean that you have an out of the contract. And so therefore the rates may go up to 7, pushes you out of your comfort level. Your budget's not where you want to be. You don't feel good about the purchase, but it wasn't put in the purchase and sale agreement. And so now you're kind of stuck with whatever the interest rates at the time. We're always going to encourage you when you find the right property to lock your interest rates. That can be very, very costly. Sometimes lenders will only lock it for 30 days. Any additional rate locks cost more and more fees. So keep that in mind. Let's talk about seller assist closing. Well, one of the biggest things in today's market where the interest rates and things are going on and what we're seeing in our office is what? Closing cost. So depending on the price range, and I don't think it really matters the price range. We've had properties that we just had, it was $1.3 million, and they were asking for closing cost. You wouldn't think so. But what they were doing in today's market, where equity's tight, funds are tight, they were doing renovations to this project, and they wanted to finance into the deal their closing cost and have more money out of pocket for the repairs. So in those cases, it does make sense. So keep in mind that when you structure your purchase and sale agreements, who's paying what closing cost, know what type of loans that are out there, and how much the lender will allow in closing cost. Some lenders, FHA, VA, will allow up to 6% in closing cost. Make sure you word the contract that says, hey, closing cost, points, and prepaids, and to make sure that all those wordings that you have those in there and everything is covered. So that being said, make sure closing costs and that are included into the purchase and sale agreement. Fixtures and appliances, dishwashers, all those things are standard. They're going to be attached to the property. But very common is your refrigerator, your washer and dryer. Maybe there's a storage shed that comes around. Make sure we put those in the purchase and sale agreement. And you also may want to put those on a bill of sale. Look, we've got so much coming up with Real Estate with Ryan in the second half. We'll talk about that and so much more. Stay with us for second half of Real Estate with Ryan.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vault.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it, second half, Real Estate with Ryan. I always get going. I always got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover here on the show. I'm going to get right into it. As I told you, we got a lot of new listings, one of the busiest weeks we've had in a long time as the spring market rolls around. And so we have some new listings coming soon, and I want to talk about those. So we got 625 Mountain Glades Way in Gatlinburg, new listing coming up. Make sure you check that property out. 3228 Greenway Drive in Knoxville. Well, that went active and then sold with multiple offers, so excited for them. Now currently pending. And then 11870 Gecko Drive in Hardin Valley. Make sure you check that property out. And pending this week, congrats. 423 Woodchuck Way in Seymour. 103 Kawatuska Way in Tellico. Congrats. 201 Wolfbarger Drive and Road in Luttrell. Congrats. We talked about Greenway Drive. And congrats to our great friends out on Flamingo Circle, out in Townsend, closed. Dunlap Avenue, closed. And, of course, so much more. So we're really, really busy there, as you can see. And so where does that put you guys? You're thinking about buying or selling this year, spring, some of the things to think about in the marketplace. Let's get into our vol update, and then we'll get back into our show. So we got 60-second vol update. Go Big Orange. Drum roll, please. All right, 60-second update. It is big here in Vol Nation. As you know, big game. If you didn't know, at 4 o'clock, we're taking on the Wildcats. Thompson Bowling Arena, sold out. SEC champs, the men handling business, and then hopefully coming out with a big win at home, an amazing stretch that the guys have had over the season, and rooting those guys on, big win, and nothing's better on a Saturday than beating the Wildcats. So go Big Orange. Also, ladies are in tournament play. After this, we're going to start, obviously, SEC play for the men, and then we got March Madness right around the corner. It's hard to believe this year is going so quick. So shout out to Vol Nation, men and women playing in basketball. And then, of course, everybody has followed us on social media. Last tickets given away today, signed autograph ball by Josiah Jordan James, a lot of our great seniors. We sent everybody today. We really appreciate you guys so much following us on Facebook, Instagram, all the social channels. And I just want to say a shout out to everybody. Thank you for following us, and we're glad to send you this year and hope you guys have had fun. And that's my quick 60-second vol update. Go Big Orange. All right, back to it. See, fun time, spring, a lot of things going on. Hope everybody's having an amazing week. And getting back into contracts, where we're at and what we need to talk about, kind of goes back into the height of the market, right? This is where homes, mostly in spring, are coming on the market. Weather starts changing. You can feel it in the air. The flowers are blooming. We saw some dogwoods out yesterday, and you can just feel it in the air. And so the real estate market is right behind that. So without purchase and sale agreements is very, very important. Yes, we kind of get into the weeds, but hopefully we cover a couple of items And I'll go through some of this quickly so we can make sure we're covering the most important items that we have. But these are important things. If you're buying or selling this year, you want to make sure these things, key elements, are in your contract on your next home purchase. So we talked about in the first half, fixtures and appliances, standard. You must put in the purchase and sale agreement, fixtures and appliances. There's a boilerplate that has all the things that are attached. So, if they're not taking the light fixtures or the ceiling fans, but on some things, like our big screen TVs, the brackets are included. So the TV brackets are included. Blinds and drapes, some of our high-end properties that we have. I mean, we're talking a lot of money. If you're planning on leaving them, or if you're wanting them as a buyer, let's be specific, make sure we put those in the purchase and sale agreement. Any things that are appliances more than a refrigerator, washer, and dryer, you need to put those on a bill of sale. A lot of times the lenders will deduct those from the purchase and sale agreement or the price. So make sure you have your agent put them on a bill of sale, or you'll end up having issues with the appraisal. Closing date. My favorite thing, always a great time when we get to closing date, but there's some misconception about closing date. In East Tennessee, in our market, I can't tell you the amount of times that we have where our seller says, Ryan, I need some time to get out. And in East Tennessee, when we close, it's usually where the buyer pays all the money and they're expecting possession of the property. Now, on specific cases, we're working on post-occupancy agreements. And those post-occupancy agreements means they allow the seller or the buyer to move in early or late. Just depends on which one you're in, okay? If you're the seller and you need another week, and we just did one yesterday and they need 2 weeks, they're traveling to Ohio and just physically can't make it work. We're able to negotiate that. Now, keep in mind, once you close on the property, most buyers are now the owners of the property. They're going to want you to put a security deposit. It's not uncommon. And all that means is that security deposit means that you're going to kind of get out. And hopefully the movers, or whatever reason, they don't destroy. There's not any damage. And so expect that. It's a very normal thing. Remember that the buyers are doing extraordinary, going above and beyond to let you stay there and work that out. So just know that you're showing some good faith as just you were renting an apartment or a short-term rental for a short period of time. Very important things to know, okay? We can't go over this enough. The sale of an existing property. Please, please, please make sure that you put in your purchase and sale agreements contingent upon a property selling or contingent upon a property going on the market. One of the biggest things we find, especially across the country with the many out-of-state buyers and sellers that we deal with on a routine basis, is the contingency, how to handle those. So if you're writing a purchase and sale agreement, make sure that there's a difference between selling a home and then if the property is under contract. Okay? So a lot of times we will have purchase and sale agreements. They come in the office and the property's not even on the market. Well, one of the biggest things that you'll have to kind of understand in today's market is that you're the buyer making that offer, but understand there's a seller. We always say real estate's a meeting of the minds. We've got a buyer and a seller, and hopefully we can get everybody to come on the same page. Well, when we're representing the buyer and making that offer for you guys, keep in mind that a lot of times, if your home's not even on the market, would you really accept that offer? And if so, we want to make sure we have all the details. That's why we're going over contracts today. The devil is in the details. We want to make sure that, if you're going to make that offer, do me a favor. Make that offer saying, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're making this offer to understand that our property is located in Texas. It's in Austin. And actually, it's going to be 2 or 3 days on the market. I want to let you know that here's the address. Here's the agent that's going to be handling the sale. And then also, by the way, we've already got pictures pre-done, and we expect 2 or 3 days on the market, and should be a 30-day closing. Now, that's preparation. Now you have an opportunity. The seller can make a great decision on an offer, and they know what's going on. Or let's say that you sold your house in California, very popular state, right? And it's under contract, but it's contingent, whether it's contingent on a 1031, which means it's a tax exchange. So a 1031 means they're taking property more than likely from an investment property and rolling it over here to a purchase. So all those details just need to be in there, and need to make sure that the more information that you have on the front end, the better that your offer can get accepted, or that there's a strong counter involved. Don't be sloppy on the front end. So many agents out there want to kind of slap the offer together and not have your details together. Strong pre-approval in today's market, as the market heats up, all the details allow the listing agent and the seller, more importantly, to make a great decision for your offer so that you can go under contract. What else is so important? And I'm going off of our real estate purchase and sales agreement. A lot of contracts here in East Tennessee, we all use the same purchase and sale agreement, so keep those in mind. When you're purchasing, a lot of items are leased. Could be security cameras. One of the biggest things are propane tanks and things like that. If you're not looking at leasing those, make sure those items are checked on the box. Also, understand that in your purchase and sale agreements, you have certain obligations that you need to pay for the appraisal, make loan application. All those things are a must. Make sure you go within the timelines. And if you're not going to make those time frames, make sure your agent communicates with the seller so that everybody's on the same time frame and expense. So going over expenses, one of the big things is the green belt. So anything over a large tract of land, more than likely it's in the green belt. And if you pull that out, taxes may due. So make sure you check that you probably want to keep the properties in the green belt. Closing dates are a time is of the essence in our contracts. Make sure that you know the date that you're going to close, and if not, have amendments on those closing dates, and everybody's involved. Lastly, are escrows. Make sure you put the proper escrow. You usually have to turn those in 4 or 5 days. Hey, so much going on. I really hope you've enjoyed this show. I love being with you every Saturday. Hope you have an amazing weekend. If you need us for anything, 693-SOLD, or visit us at ryancoleman.org. Have a great weekend.